because of this lack of hope and materials, like people are living and not developing what we have already,
Yeah.
but they go somewhere where it's already given to you and developed. That's basically the issue.
I also had this choice either to leave Latvia or stay here and do something. And now, since I'm getting so much of a feedback and so many people are telling me like what I'm doing is necessary, what I'm doing is inspiring, and I'm like, you know what? I love my country actually because I was born here and I have so many good memories in here. Yes, things can be better, but then for now I feel almost a need to keep fighting and like keep improving things for me and for someone else.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's empowering.
Yeah.
I think the sweetest thing that I receive is that people actually write me in DMs or meet me on the street or in the bus, and they come to me and they say like, thank you for what you're doing. That's valuable. That's also what keeps me fighting or surviving every day. Or somebody came out of a closet, or like for the first time spoke to their coworkers like, hey, I'm actually gay, or they made first small little steps because of what you are doing. And when they say that, you feel like, okay, that's what I'm doing. All these things, they have purpose.
Yeah.
And this is the most beautiful thing that you can experience as an activist or a queer influencer or public speaker. So if you feel inspired by somebody, and if you actually like somebody in Latvia doing things or organizing stuff, feel free to write them, and I promise you it's really valuable for us.
It is. It absolutely is. I think this representation that we do, we just live our lives freely and just express ourselves, and other people be like, oh, that's also an option. So you don't have to like fight on your own. You don't have to like keep it inside. You can just be yourself, and this is nice.
That's what I started doing actually, because it didn't take for me a long time to something realize about myself or identify and make it clear. I just started doing things without coming up posts or public announcement. I just started reposting queer art or education stuff. I started going to events, participating in projects. Then I started meeting people. Also, I used Tinder for having queer friends because I had no queer friends at all. And I know how painful it is because you're having lots of questions in your mind. You have nobody to talk and relate.
Yeah.
And now luckily we have movies and queer culture online, but there is not so like little things that exist in the real world that you can come and ask questions and relate and stuff.
Again, I can only agree. I have messages from different people being different age actually. I had, when I first did my coming out post on Facebook, one guy who is like, he's like far over 50, and he also comes from the same town as me, and he now lives abroad, and somehow he found this post and he was like, wow, you know what, you actually inspired me to talk to my friends about my sexual identity today, because I always thought that I need to keep it inside. Seeing how others are actually reacting in a very positive way, he said, you know what, I don't want to keep it inside. And I know other friends that also like had this, like as you mentioned, the small talks and small steps. So yeah, doing gay activist stuff is important, definitely, and getting feedback is also important.
And it's also, for me, it feels so relieving, not hiding, not keeping it to yourself, but giving it to people and making your experience more relatable, making some life lessons, also giving this experience to others.
I mean, we're social beings. We need to share similar things between each other, and sometimes we do have similar struggles we go through, and this is why it is very important to speak up about them. Normalize taking care of mental health, for example. I always speak about this because, like, come on, so many people are rather keeping it inside because, like, oh, I don't want to bother others because they go through the same shit as you. And when you talk about this is like how people like create these kind of communities. So it is very important. And I disagree that when people say that they don't need to express their sexual orientation. You do. Maybe you don't need to tell it to everyone, like once you're meeting them, like for the first time, like, hi, I'm gay, you know, because being gay is not everything there is about you, but it is a very big part of you. So you need to be able to express it and be free about it. I would want a future where people don't need to do coming out, because coming out is something like we're almost we have to do them, because automatically people assume that you're straight, and in order to not for that to not happening, you need to do coming out and say, hey, actually I like guys and not girls, so stop assuming that. So I would love if we would stop assuming things and we would just, you know, see people as individuals. But then again, expressing your gay things is important, definitely, and not like hiding it or playing a character in your life.
Of course, if you can afford it, like you have a safe space to come out, or you're financially independent and you know that you don't risk anything.
Yeah, as long as it's safe, of
like,
course.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it depends, and I also agree that, in my opinion, we should cancel coming out. I don't even like this word coming out, because it's like making something obligatory, like that you have to do as a person who is minority, or it's like a line that draws like between majority and minority. I don't want to have this line to, you know, step out of it. I just want to live a normal life and normalize being myself.
Because so, like, let's imagine that everyone automatically is gonna assume that everyone's gay, and then the straights are like, oh, suddenly, you know, it's not cool. So we should definitely change our mindset, and there are so many things we should improve. Not just like sexual orientation, also the pronouns thing and like gender thing. Like we still, so many times we still assume that if we see a person who looks like a female, that it's a girl, and that she's into guys, you know. And if you see a guy with a beard, you automatically assume that he's like cisgender guy, and like whatever. There's like so many things we still need to improve. But then again, I don't know if it's ever gonna happen. I'm not talking about Latvia, just in general. Like you can see what's happening in the world.
I like this phrase of my friend. He said, if you assume something, you make an ass of you and me. So don't make an ass. Don't stereotype, use critical thinking, ask a person about their pronouns because it's respectful.
And don't believe in horoscopes. I'm sorry. No, this is a very important topic. Yeah, stop assuming things. Like spend this time to, I don't know, get to know a person, because we all are people first of all, and not just like walking, you know, genitals. We need to be more respectful toward each other, respect their choices, their lifestyle, their expressions and stuff like that.
And some things that you cannot choose.
Yeah.
Everything of that was mentioned in my research. Like I asked youngsters what they hear from their parents, and these are the most common stereotypes that they say, that, oh, you will grow out
it's just a phase.
Out of it, you're experimenting, and they always hope that you will turn straight after. There is always this parent hope that you will be normal, you know.
I heard from a friend of mine, she said that usually when a lesbian girl is coming out, no one is taking her seriously, and they always assume that this is a phase, and she will find the right guy and this will be okay. For the gay guys, it's somehow like more dramatic, and they just like, oh, you're one of those, like, you know.
First you come out as bisexual.
Oh yeah.
That's a golden rule. I don't make the rules. Okay, I'm joking.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are a lot of people who are questioning their sexuality. Then they make first step when they say I'm bisexual, maybe. Then they go lesbian, pansexual, demisexual, like all the sexual ways.
I mean, yeah, sexual orientation is a spectrum. Like, there's so many things we still don't know. But actually, a very controversial thing that I might say, and I hope I don't get canceled for that, but because of when people are like, I mean, the way you look for them is like, yeah. I also mentioned it in some of the previous videos about gay guys. They rather stick to label being bisexual, even though they're not bisexual. They are 100% gays. 100% gays. They don't even look at girls. But they still stick to bisexual label just because it's more safe. It's because it's kind of more like accepted in a way, and there's like always like a glimpse of hope, like, oh yeah, like I still like girls, even though they don't. They know that they don't like girls. They know they're not dating girls, but they still tell about themselves like, yeah, I'm bisexual.
Okay, I can explain. So basically, as you said, sexuality is a spectrum.
Yeah.
So we have different kind of attractions toward people. It's emotional, romantic, and sexual.
Mm-hmm.
You may be attracted to moving. For example, sometimes I'm attracted to men romantically, or sexually, or emotionally, or to women, or to non-binary people, because I like people besides of their gender. I just like people. So maybe to some of the gender I'm more attracted sexually, and this is my sexual preference. But emotionally, I can be more open with other kind of sexuality, or, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, it could be inner homophobia. Still, like, you are afraid to use the word gay, or there is a stigma around the word lesbian, because even like in Russian language, it's so awful how it sounds like. I try to destigmatize it the way I use the word queer, because I use the word queer everywhere, and it was like historically it was a slur. So.
And look how tables have turned. Now we use this term like proudly.
Yeah. So this is how you destigmatize it, and well, basically because of inner homophobia, it's really difficult to still accept yourself, and people sometimes are afraid to put a label, so they will be like, I will stay under this label of bisexuality. And third thing is that you can be dating men, but you can be romantically, or somehow, for example, find actresses who are female, or cartoon characters who are female attractive, or vice versa, you know. So this is a really complicated question, you know. It has also like inner things like inner homophobia, but also external things like emotional, sexual, and romantic attraction.
I guess it really depends how the person, what does he mean by the label bisexual? Because I like girls. I can absolutely say, if I see a beautiful woman in front of me, I can absolutely like what I'm seeing. I can kiss a girl. I could maybe like make out with her, but I think it would not be fair to call myself bisexual, because I would never imagine myself dating a girl. I could again see, like, I could feel an attraction towards a girl, definitely, but I could never build something serious with her. So I would never use for myself term bisexual, because okay, you know, because my final fantasy would be to be with a guy.
I wasn't like, I make now projects about sexual education because I wasn't sexually educated, and this is like,
None of us was.
like, from where?
How do you even have sex, you know?
I lived half of my life being asexual and homophobic, because I didn't know that asexuality is also part of LGBTQ plus community. What existed in my mind is what lesbian and gays, LGBT, and there wasn't like QA plus thing. Because what I felt when everybody were dating and when they're minors, I didn't have anything like attraction. So I thought I'm sick or something wrong with me. And then I realized there's a second page on the menu. So you can be also attracted to non-masculine guys, so for example, more feminine guys, or for non-binary people, or whatever kind of people, because when I started traveling, I understood there are a lot of people that you don't see in Latvia. They're more diverse and open-minded. And then I was like, okay, maybe I'm that. So I just decided not to label and use queer, because it's just really complicated to label and stay with one.
Yeah, it is. And then again, because every person can interpret the term like how they see it, it could be confusing. And I absolutely agree that we need less labels maybe, and just use you like queer. Oh my god, it's just so confusing, even for us being a part of LGBTQ plus community and still not figuring things out. So I can only imagine why we still have so many stereotypes about other guys. And then one very controversial thing as well is neopronouns. I don't know if you saw on TikTok, there was a girl and she said, today I'm gonna teach you how to use fish pronouns. Or
Princess,
like paint,
prince.
yes, like paints. And then Sorry, but this is actually so rude towards people who are actually using other pronouns for a reason. You know, it's not nickname, it's not something for fun, it's not something like they don't feel comfortable using their pronouns that usually people assume, like they look like a girl but they identify as a guy and they want he him pronouns, and then someone just makes it as a joke. This is like, we don't need that. We don't need that. And it's very confusing. It is very confusing, and it's not always about sexual orientation. Maybe sometimes it is about, you know, like neopronouns could be your nicknames. It could be like something for fun you can use with your friends, but not you seriously expecting that someone at your job is gonna say, hey, Paint, or Princess, or someone like, come over, we need to have a meeting. Like, what? Seriously, I don't believe that this is the actual term that makes you feel more comfortable.
No way.
Because then again, when you meet these kind of people, it's not just one neopronouns they have. They have like list of like hundreds of something. So there's like, my question is, are they actually making you comfortable, or this is just making like something for fun? You know?
Yeah, I will be a nerd and say from linguistic point of view, you can't make objects pronouns.
Thank
You can't.
you. Thank you.
Can't.
Let's not do that. Yeah, this is. We already have like. Let's start with the basic stuff. You know, gay guys are still oppressed. Lesbians are still being sexualized, and then
Bisexuals are not considered to be a part of LGBTQ plus community.
Yeah.
And non-binary people, they're just haven't figured out their gender. You know, these kind of stereotypes. It's just really sad that they
Yeah.
exist.